People usually see the attention-grabbing headline of the article first, then the statistical analysis second. But I'll switch it up here and show you the data manipulation behind the convoluted title. Then show you just how easy it is to brainwash basically the entire country through perfectly crafted statistical jargon into thinking that down is up and up is down. Here's the abortion trend in the United States from 1973 to 2014. This first data point is when the Roe v. Wade decision was passed and legalized abortion. The abortion rate then started increasing rapidly up until its peak around 1980. Then we had a slightly decreasing trend until present day time, where it essentially returned to the starting point in 1973. Look at all that blue that shows the abortion rate being higher when the bill passed, then that tiny sliver of green at the very end. Based on this graph alone, the Roe v. Wade decision looks like it might have increased the abortion rate. Then something happened around 1980 or so, and then completely reversed the trend. Now let's see what the attention-grabbing headline is from this data.
Abortion rates across the United States have plunged to their lowest level since the controversial Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision in 1973, according to a new report. The report by the Guttmacher Institute, a research group that supports legalized abortion, recorded a rate of 14.6 abortions per 1,000 women of childbearing age in 2014, the most recent year with data available. Planned Parenthood President Cecile Richards called it proof that giving women better access to contraception is paying off with fewer abortions.
The weird upbeat music makes it hard to concentrate, and it also gives you a signal that something happy is going to happen. And then at the very end, people only remember abortion plunges, Roe v. Wade decision, proof it works. So if anything's threatening that decision, people are going to be totally against it. How much does the government pay to Planned Parenthood? Well, about $500 million a year, which is about 40% of their $1.3 billion budget, which suggests the organization would be in some heavy financial trouble without that public funding, which means that some people would actually have to find a real job.
And today we're here to deliver a message. We're not going to take this lying down. And we will not go back. For the majority of people in this country, Planned Parenthood is not the problem, we're the solution.
There are no solutions, there are only trade-offs. And whatever you do to deal with one of man's flaws, it creates another problem. But that you try to get the best trade-off you can get, and that's all you can hope for. I've often said there are three questions that I think would destroy most of the arguments on the left. And the first is, compared to what? The second is, at what cost? And the third is, what hard evidence do you have?
A more accurate headline to me would be, abortion rate doubles in only 7 short years after abortion became legal, then takes 35 years to recover back to its original level. But that headline won't exactly excite people to donate to these same research groups that conduct their own analysis and always have the same conclusion. What we are doing is clearly working, and please give us more of your money.
The more the plans fail, the more the planners plan.
USA Today says a new report this morning finds the abortion rate in this country dropping to its lowest level since 1973. That's when the procedure became legal. In 2011, the rate fell to an average of 16.9 abortions for every 1,000 women between the ages of 15 and 44.
Abortion is an extremely contentious issue for many people in the U.S. and around the world, many of whom want to see a world with few abortions. Luckily, science is on the case. According to a report by the Guttmacher Institute, a sexual health research nonprofit.
The report by the Guttmacher Institute, a research group that supports legalized abortion.
You better not let him in your sad men's club.
Divorced men's club.
Potato, potato.
The U.S. currently has the lowest abortion rate since it became legal in 1973, and yet people are still denying sexual health education works. This study postulates that both contraception and education are at play here, though they say more research is obviously needed. Though there are many who have politicized this issue, the data seems to indicate that restricting access for political reasons may cause more unintended pregnancies and thus actually increase the rates of abortion. How do you feel about the U.S. having the lowest abortion rate in a long time? Let us know in the comments. Please subscribe for more D-News, and thanks for watching.
Here's my analysis of the history of U.S. abortion. Some people may forget this, but the history of the United States did not start in 1973. It started in 1776. And we don't have reliable data on abortions from that time period, but I'm pretty sure the abortion rate was at the historic low back then. But we do have some data starting in 1965. The abortion rate looks like it started taking off in 1970 when the first state legalized abortion. Roe v. Wade legalized it federally. But the increase really started in the 60s when it was still illegal, meaning we'd get a huge underestimate on the number of reported abortions. If we zoom in on this time period, we see a very sharp increase. It just doesn't look like much when we finally see the reliable data where it's legal now and we'd actually get an accurate estimate. So the increase in abortion seems to have rapidly started during the 60s and continued until 1980, then suddenly reversed for some reason. What were those 2 decades known for again?
Oh my God.
What?
You're from the 60s.
Well, yeah, actually.
Ow, hey! Back to the 60s.
Wait a
back.
second.
There's no place for you here in the future. Get back while you still can.
You've changed. You know that?
Yes, I suppose I have. How about this? Peace, love, dope. Now get the hell out of here.
But then something really strange happened in around 1980 or 1981 that abruptly halted the increase in the abortion rate. I don't know, maybe a deadly sexually transmitted disease that would kill you? People now needed to find a condom to use, stay abstinent, or have unprotected sex with strangers and risk death. I don't know about you, but that seems like a much stronger incentive for people to practice safe sex than getting cheaper birth control. The truth may be ugly, inconvenient, and politically incorrect, but horny feminists in the 60s started the abortion increase, and horny in the 80s started the decrease.
Because you can't say fag unless you're a homosexual. Really? So we can't say fag? No, see, you got beeped. You mean you have to be a fag to say fag? That's right.
Well, that's not fair. I should be able to say fag.
Hey, you didn't get beeped. Uh-oh. Well, guess we learned something new about you, Jimbo, you friggin' fag. You want to make out or something?
The American people themselves are very resilient in getting something that they or somebody they really love needs. All by themselves, without a faraway protector they will never see.
Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
But the Guttmacher Institute, this non-profit organization that conducts research, has an annual budget of $17.5 million. And they were founded about 50 years ago. They've been spreading propaganda to the US people for 50 years, and they've been eating it up.
So you may have heard earlier this week that the Guttmacher Institute released statistics indicating that abortion has actually decreased significantly in the U.S. Now, the right wing has used this information and they've twisted it in a way to suit their political agenda. The Guttmacher Institute, which is, of course, a pro-choice organization.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there.
there was another study done by the Guttmacher Institute, and they found that 98% of Catholic women use the contraceptions that they're told not to use by the Catholic Church. 98%. Right. So pretty much every single Catholic woman.
I was going to say, who are those two? There's like 2% of nuns that don't. It's like, it's really, so 98%, that's a major finding.
That money is not going to statistical research. They already know the reason. I actually didn't even see a statistician who works there. It goes to figuring out better and more effective ways to spread propaganda to enrich the top people in the organization. When you go into your everyday life and you hear this news, you'll only think, birth control obviously controls births, and people are taking it away, so we're going to have an increase in unwanted pregnancy. But they're skipping the part that they're the ones going to give it to you. They don't give it to you, you get it for yourself. This manipulation was so easy, the argument at the most basic level is this. Legalizing abortion obviously had something to do with the decrease in abortions, duh.
Women who are marching on Friday, I think it is, I want to give them some really great news, which is abortion is down, lower than it was when Roe v. Wade began. It's at its lowest.
The trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so.